All right, happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. Let me fix the mic. That bugs me when it's in the screen there. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Site Review Tuesday. Thanks for jumping on here and hanging out with me on the live stream. Hey, if this is your first time hanging out with us, make sure you say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. As always, we love you guys who come back and hang out with us every Tuesday and every Thursday. We've got Frank hanging out with us already in chat. Pro Exposure Photography, Kathleen Riley, Darren Mark, Lynn, Jennifer, and let's see who else. Brian Boccaccio. Did I say it right? Was I even close? Hopefully I was close. And Norman Stokes already say hi to us in the chat there. So thank you guys for jumping on here and hanging out with us. For those of you guys who know how Site Review Tuesday works, go ahead and get a number in the chat from 1 to 110. And that's going to be the first site that we review. If you're brand new to Site Review Tuesday, this is how we do things. We're going to review 3 websites absolutely live today. Each site's going to get 15 minutes per review. The third site is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us in the live chat. So if you haven't submitted your site for review, the link to do that is in the description below this video. So make sure that you click on that, and I'm sure Katie will be throwing that link out to you guys as well. All right, and then as always, we're giving points, having a lot of fun, but we're not keeping score on your site. This is all just to help improve, to help us as photographers, to improve our website, to give us some ideas, to see what other people are doing, whatever it is that's good that you can take out of this site review. That is what we do these for. Now, really quick, I've got Katie hanging out with me, taking care of you guys in chat, so make sure that you show her some love. She does an awesome job hanging out with me every single Tuesday, helping me pronounce things, keeping me on track. So I really appreciate her jumping on here and hanging out with us. Also, don't forget, all right, let's do some announcements really quick first. So first, some announcements. This Thursday, we're doing a live interview with Mary Powell of Mary Powell Photography. She's a real estate photographer. We're going to be talking about real estate photography, booking, scheduling, workflow, lots of different things like that. Going to be a really cool interview, and we might do something a little fun as well. So make sure that you join us for that. Don't forget the Ultimate Photographer Starter Package Sweepstakes is still going on. Not sure how many more days you guys have left to enter that, but if you haven't entered it yet, please enter it. The link to do that's in the description below the video. And just to show you guys, if you are the grand prize winner, this is what you win. Yeah, this is what you win here. See, I just got to remember to point that way. That's what you win here. So pretty cool grand prize. Love to see somebody from our YouTube community take home that grand prize. That's why I tell you guys to enter that every single week. Also, don't forget we do group training sessions now for Book Me, basic selling and advanced selling. You can sign up for those in the link description below the video. And then don't forget, August 13th is our 200th live stream. We're going to have a special guest. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff. We're going to have a really awesome giveaway, and we're going to be doing some extra special things. So make sure that you come join us for that 200th live stream. And as always, we're going to continue challenging you guys to post something positive daily on your social media channel. Post some beautiful images, post a good quote, brighten up somebody's day, make somebody smile. And while you do it, go ahead and use that hashtag Zenfolio Photographers. If I can get it to show. It's not going to show. We're cool. That's fine. Use hashtag Zenfolio Photographers for a chance for that image to be featured on one of our social media platforms. All right, you guys, I know somebody threw a number out there. Let me scroll back and see who grabbed that first one. Looks like that's going to be Darren Mark. Hey, Darren, long time no see. Thanks for jumping back on here and hanging out with us. He said number 25, so we're going to go ahead and pull up site number 25. And again, if you haven't had your site reviewed, the third site that we review is going to come from one of you guys hanging out with us there live. All right, let me go grab site 25 here. It's number 25. Okay, so it looks like site number 25 is going to be, let me just grab this and bring it over, scottmanderson.zenfolio.com. So let me grab this, bring it over, hit the refresh. We'll get I don't know why I said 25 minutes. We'll get 15 minutes up on the clock and get this review going. Let me go ahead and grab that link, get that 15-minute timer going, and we'll get started. So here's the link. I'm going to throw it and chat for you guys there. There we go. And we're going to start off by just pulling this down. And so right here, so a couple of things up here. Scott, it does look like you're using the default Zenfolio domain URL. Also, you've kind of got the default favicon going right up here. So some things to think about. Not sure the purpose of your website, if this is just for a basic portfolio, if this is to show to people to get you to get them to hire you. So I'm not 100% sure what the purpose is of your site, but definitely some things that I would think about on here is maybe going ahead and taking care of that favicon, getting something, a new favicon up here, just so it doesn't have the orange Z. Definitely looking at maybe picking up a custom URL. So what do you guys think in chat, though? I'm curious. Do you guys think that a custom URL is a big deal? I think if you are pursuing photography as a business, so this is my opinion, if you're pursuing photography as a business, then a custom URL in my book is pretty important. For one, for just the professionalism look of your site. Two, for the easeability of clients being able to remember what to type in. And then three, it's also pretty handy for your SEO as well. So those are the reasons why I think that a custom URL is pretty important. You can pick one up through services like GoDaddy, iwantmyname.com, Network Solutions. There's a lot of different companies that will let you pick these custom URLs up. And then all you need to do is point that custom domain to your site. Pretty easy to set up. There are articles and stuff on our support guide to help you do that. Also down here, I would definitely think about maybe doing a custom logo here. So this looks like it's just the kind of the title, not the title, what is it? The display name, that's right, the display name. So I'm not seeing a custom logo or anything like that. So something to think about when you start pursuing photography as a business. You need to start establishing a brand and brand identity, and colors, logos, and custom domains kind of all fall into that, which is something that you definitely want to think about. Okay, so let's go ahead, and one thing I did want to point out is I do see when I hover over this, I do see that you have some extra information in here. So if I can get it to show back up again, let's see. I never can remember how to get it to show back up. There we go. So it says Scott M. Anderson Photography, and then in brackets it says Windsor, I'm probably saying it wrong, Windsor, New York. One thing that you want to think about and watch, guys, is using those brackets, right? Whether they're the square brackets, the curly brackets, a lot of those are actually used in coding, and using those symbols and those brackets in different places on your website. Gallery names, for one thing, lots of different things like that. Anywhere you can put text, if you're using those brackets, just keep in mind that a lot of those are also used in coding, and it can make some weird things happen from time to time. So if you want my opinion, I would try to avoid using those specific brackets or the curly brackets anywhere you can to keep from any potential issues happening with those brackets being used and interfering with the coding somehow. So something to think about. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a look at the rest of this site. So I wasn't able to pay attention to all the images, but I am seeing some absolute beautiful photos, just some absolutely beautiful photos on here so far. It looks like for the most part what I'm seeing is a lot of landscape photos. And so I kind of wonder, is this like, is photography just is your hobby, your passion? Is this where you're storing your images to share out with friends and family or something like that? If that's the case, perfectly fine. Zenfolio is a great place to do that. One of the things I am noticing is on these homepage images, we do have this big proof watermark, as Kathleen Riley is pointing out there in the chat. We do have this big proof watermark. And while I definitely understand the practice of wanting any image that you put online to have a watermark, that way people can't just screenshot it, it can be rather distracting here on the homepage specifically. So if this is something that you may not want the watermark appearing on your homepage of your website and you're using the Zenfolio watermark, you can definitely take that watermark setting off of the homepage gallery. That way that the images on your homepage aren't watermarked. Again, I see both sides of that argument. There are people who will say any image you put up online needs to be watermarked to keep people from stealing it, screenshotting it. Definitely understand that side of things. But then also on the other side of things, especially here on the homepage, when this is kind of like your elevator pitch of, hey, this is my photography. I want you to focus on the images so you can see how good of a photographer I am and then progress through to the rest of my site. That might not be a place where you want that big proof to kind of distract and deteriorate the quality of the image a little bit. So something to think about there. Okay. Let's keep going down here. So we have some information here. A lot of this information, I don't know that I would have showing on the homepage. It is kind of distracting, but so I would definitely think about some of this. And as you can see, some of this stuff is kind of repeated here. All right. So what I would probably think about is, I definitely understand having the about information and the contact information showing if this about information was filled out, but it looks kind of blank. So I would probably go ahead and on this homepage layout, set that about info, the contact info, your about photo, all of that stuff to hide. There's not really a reason for this. You can write this information in your welcome message up here, which is going to help your SEO as well, and you already have it showing. The other thing that I would probably do is I would probably turn all of this stuff off, right? Because there's not really a reason for a visitor to see how long you've been with Zenfolio. Is that something that they really care about? To see how many sites or how many visits your website has had? Is that something you really want somebody looking at? Also to see how many photos you have online. This is cool information for us, but as a visitor coming to look at your photography, hopefully to buy some of your photos or to hire you as a photographer, is that information that is really pertinent? Is that the word I'm looking for? Is that information that's really essential for them to see in order for them to do what you want them to do on your website? Because that stuff can be distracting. Also, you do have your guest book showing and where I can add an entry. There is 0 entries. I personally would just turn the guest book off. As you've seen in a lot of past Site Review Tuesday episodes, when we look at guest books, a lot of times those guest books become spam catchers and they just get filled up with a bunch of spam. So something to think about there is turning that stuff off. Moving down here, we have featured galleries and collections. Then we have recently added. Then we have all photographs. Okay, so this is stuff that I would 100% just completely, entirely remove from the page. And I would just focus everybody's attention to the site menu up here. This is what I want people to learn how to use, to focus on using, to get used to using when they're navigating my site, because this stuff up here can stay the same regardless of what page they're on, but all of this stuff down here is going to go away or change as we progress through the site. And that's why I like to tell people, use that header menu on your homepage, get people used to this navigation, and then it can show on the rest of your site as we move through. So now that we've kind of covered the whole homepage, let's progress through this site and take a look at things. So we're going to hover over portfolio. I see that you have it as a drop down. All right. So we're going to hover over that, and I only see one item here. So this is a little confusing for me as a visitor, right? And again, I always try to approach this from the perspective of a visitor. What is a visitor looking for? What are they thinking? What questions do they have? What information are they trying to find? And when I see portfolio and I hover over it and I see my work right there as the only drop down option, but then I also see my work up here, I'm left scratching my head on, okay, are there 2 different sets of your work? If so, what's the purpose of having one nestled under a drop-down menu where it's the only item, and then another menu item off to the right that says my work as well? So a little confusing setup there, but let's go ahead and go to my work and click on that, and we'll take a look. All right, and so if we look up here, we can see what gallery we're in. We're in the Scott M. Anderson Freelance Gallery. and you utilizing your gallery caption right here. So I'm going to say nice job on that, utilizing that gallery caption. Gallery captions, in my opinion, are one of the most underutilized features in Zenfolio. It's a great way to add text to your galleries, which is going to help visitors understand what the gallery is about. But more importantly, it gives search engines more text information to index, which in turn is good for your SEO. So nice job on that. Has its own dogma shot online. Okay, so nice. So we got a nice little quote here. And then if we just scroll down, there's a lot of different images in here. So a lot of different images, lots of beautiful photos. I really like this one right here of the owl. We are big owl fans in my family. My wife has this unbelievable, ever-growing collection of owls everywhere in the house. So anytime we spot an owl, we're always like, oh, let me look at it. Really beautiful owl photo. But the thing that I really want to point out in this portfolio is two things, right? That there is a lot of images. How can I tell that? You can tell by the size of my little scroll bar over here. And then as we're scrolling down, we're seeing a lot of different types of images. So a couple of things that you could definitely do for this portfolio to make it more visitor friendly, to make it easier for people to get to the information, to the images that they might be looking for, the type of photography that they might be interested in, is utilizing that drop down and organizing your galleries in a little bit of a different manner. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of wildlife images in here. There are a lot of landscape images in here. There are a lot of just different types of images, right? And so what you could think, there's a lot of like city scenes, architecture. There's even different types of animals. There's wild cats, there's birds, there's all kinds of different animals in here and different images. And so what you could do is you could really utilize this drop down up here so that when we hovered over this, it said portfolio, but then instead of just saying my work and linking to this one gallery that kind of contains everything, you could let me get much more quickly to the type of photography that I'm interested in, or at least let me browse your work in a more digestible fashion by taking all of the images in these galleries and kind of separating them into different categories in your account. So having a gallery for landscape, having a gallery for wildlife, having a gallery for cityscapes, night shots, long exposures, different things like that. And then linking to those galleries separately in this drop-down menu so that if I'm coming to your site and I'm really interested in your wildlife photography, I can hit that drop down and there's an option in this drop down that says wildlife photography, and I can quickly go right to the type of images that I'm interested in, and I don't have to scroll through all of this other stuff. All right, so that's how you can utilize that drop down menu to make this much more navigational, easy for people to get to where they want to go and as fast as they possibly can. Now, I didn't go all the way to the bottom. There are a ton of images. So the other thing, the other reason that I like to mention breaking this down is because if I scroll really fast, as we've all gotten accustomed to with high-speed internet, if your client has slower internet, they might experience some lag time, right? It depends on how fast their internet's going, how fast these images are going to load. And if we break this up into more digestible sections, there's a good chance that they won't experience that lag or that load time because they're going and looking at a gallery that maybe has 10 to 20 images in it versus 253 images. And I can tell because you have the sequence number on here. Now, the other thing that I'm looking for, and the real reason why I came to this gallery and went all the way down to the bottom, is because I'm looking to see if captions, categories, and keywords, any of that stuff is showing, which it's not. So you haven't, or if you have keyworded, categorized this gallery, unfortunately, all of that work that you might have put into doing that is not doing you any good because your categories and keywords are not showing on this page. So Google cannot index that information, therefore it cannot understand what this page is about based on any captions or categories that you've put in there because it's actually not showing. And anything that's not showing, they don't take into consideration as relevant information, and therefore it has no positive impact on your SEO. So if you have categorized, keyworded this gallery, these images, make sure you come back to the gallery and set it to show. All right, let's scroll all the way back up to the top really quick. Guys, we got like 49 seconds left. Somebody throw a number out in the chat. Let's do a number from 215 to 307. So 215 to 307, throw it out in the chat. I'm going to hit the blog really quick and see if we have a blog post or see what's going on with the blog here. So let me check that out. Okay. And that took us to the blog post. And as you can see, there are no blog posts. And the website has completely changed. So this is really confusing, Scott. I would definitely come back here and remove that blog link if you don't plan on blogging. Because the last thing that you want somebody doing is clicking on that blog, going here, feeling like they're on a different website and seeing no blog posts. So definitely something that you want to consider. Hey, I wish that I had made it through more of your site. You had some beautiful photos. Biggest thing for me is that portfolio navigation, as it usually is on these site review Tuesdays. Portfolio navigation and organization, categories and keywords, all of that stuff is so important. And that is what I would get started on, going back and revisiting here on your site. But thank you, Scott, for submitting your site. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I gave you some helpful hints to think about, some different things to think about on your site to make that function a little bit better. All right, let me go back, check on you guys in chat here. Let's see. Roxanne Bay with the next number. She says 217. Hey, Roxanne, hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully you guys up there in Canada are having some good weather. I know you're probably relieved that you're not being snowed in anymore. I think it's finally summertime for you guys there in Canada, isn't it? Anyway, Roxanne said site number 217. Let's go grab site 217. Don't forget, you guys, after this review, the next review will come from you guys hanging out in chat. So make sure that you get your site submitted if it's not submitted already. You still have a little bit of time to do that. Let's see. Let me grab site 217. It looks like that is, I'm trying to say the name. Is it Lilo? I can't even, Lee Lofgren. Lee Lofgren. I can't read or pronounce today, you guys. So I'm going to say leelofgren.com. I hope I'm getting that close. Let me grab the link. Throw this out to you guys in chat there. All right, here we go. Keyboard is not acting up, or not acting right. There we go. All right, we're going to get 15 minutes up on the clock and we'll get started with this review right here. There we go. 15 minutes. Okay, so let me just bring this down. There we go. All right, so this is the website right here. It's Lee Lofgren. Lee Lofgren. I think I'm saying it right. Katie. Oh, she said, good job. I must have got it right. Okay. So Lee Lofgren. So leelofgren.com is the site, and just a couple of things up here. So right up here at the top, this is the website title. You have your web address put in there. I don't think that would be the best practice. What I want you to do, Lee, is I want you to go to Google. And guys, if you're wondering, what does this matter up here? This is your website title, okay? And it doesn't just matter in the scale of what we're seeing here right now. That's not why it matters. Why that matters is because if you open up a tab right now and you do a search in Google for wildlife photographer or whatever you want to search for, those bold blue headings that you see pop up that are underlined, those are the website titles. And chances are the ones that are popping up higher on the search results have some of the words that you might have searched for actually in the title. So when we think about this title, usually this is something that we set up when we first create the account and we forget to come back here and modify it. So when you think about this title, what you want to think about is those search results, right? What are your potential clients searching for that you want them to find your website? And that information is what you want to include in that website title. So maybe you want to say Lee Lofgren Photography, put a tube or something like that, a little dash, wildlife photographer, or whatever it is, the type of photography you do and the location that you do it in that website title. It's not all going to be readable up here, but again, it's not about what we can read here. It's about what search engines read and what shows on those Google search results. And that's why I talk about this every single time. All right, let's bring this back up. Let's keep moving on. Okay, so the next thing, as I can see somebody already saying in chat, this is a big logo space right here. And absolutely, this is a big logo space. So typically when you see a big space like this with the logo, usually what that means is that this logo was not cropped in nice and tight. Okay, so when you're showing the logo in your header on your homepage, different things like that, you have the option to either have your logo scaled, which if you're using the homepage logo, it does always scale. But on the header, you can have that logo scale or stay the size that you uploaded it. Okay. And so whenever you're creating your logos, I know some of us are really particular about the padding and the space, and some of us might even established brand guidelines, right? So for instance, Zenfolio, the Z logo, you are not allowed to have anything close to the Z. It has to have at least another Z's worth of space between it and another element. So a tidbit of information for you guys there. When you're creating logos for your website though, you can add that padding in through the header. And so when you are creating your logos, what you want to do is you want to crop those logos in as tight as possible. So a really easy way to do that is if you hold Command on your keyboard, click on the layer that has your logo text, and it should put the little dancing ants around your logo, and then just go hit the crop tool, and that crop tool will then crop in really tight to your logo. You can hit enter and crop it that way. All right. And then when you upload the logo into your header, you can add padding. So that way you can play around with that and you can adjust it without having to constantly go back and forth between Zenfolio and Photoshop till you get your logo looking where you want it to be. If you are in the process of working on your logo right now, we actually did a live stream. It might have been last year. I'm going to see if Katie can find it. I bet she can. If she can throw that out in the chat, it's on uploading logos. And there's also a downloadable resource in the description of that previous live stream where you can actually download a logo. It's like a zip file and it has logo PDF. It had with all the sizes, and then it has like Photoshop templates and stuff like that. So a really good resource for logos. Okay, moving on through the rest of the site. Again, for me, that's huge header. That's a lot of real estate that's being taken up by blank brown. And I want to see your images. You have some beautiful photos on here. Again, just absolutely beautiful photos. Some of these I would like to see maybe a little larger. One of the things that you might want to do is if you're going to use this type of slideshow, you might want to go in and turn that border off. So you see this little pin line border right here. This is under the settings. And when images don't quite take all that space up, that little border with that blank space is a little weird looking. So that might be something that you want to look at there. Is turning that border off. That's going to be under your content settings on the homepage. Okay. Let's go down here and let's see. So we have social media icons. We have the search button up here. And then down here we have your name, search, guestbook entries, add entry. And then I think this is your welcome message and then guestbook right here as well with 3 entries. Okay, so a couple of things here. One, we do have the social media icons and the search bar showing up here already. This is a little bit repetitive down here. You might make a choice. Do you want it up top? Do you want it down here? Not really a reason for both of them to show. Now, I see that your guestbook has 3 guestbook entries. I'm actually curious, so we're going to click on that and take a look. So it looks like these are they real? Do you think they're real? So here's the thing when it comes to guestbook, right? I mentioned earlier they typically end up becoming spam collectors, especially if you don't make sure that you have the moderation option on. And so when we're looking at these at a quick glance, they almost look legit. Okay, these entries down here almost look legit, like lovely website, preserve the wonderful works, regards, and then right here we have a link. And these might be legit. I'm not going to click on these links. It's a little interesting that they end with .pl. Each one ends with .pl. That's a little interesting. Wonderful website, stick to the useful work, many thanks. And then we have this name right here. They're non-registered and they both end with a link. And I'm always curious about those. So I'm not going to click on those. What I would say, this is why you want to be careful, because if these are not legit, they look really close to being legit. And bots and spammers have gotten pretty sophisticated these days at creating these kind of auto spamming things that then leave links. And who knows what will happen if we click on that link. I'm not going to click on it because I'm just always cautious. And so again, the other thing you need to think about, right, is that I'm a visitor to your website. Okay. And I'm a visitor to your website, and I went to look at your guest book entries just out of curiosity because it was there. And then I saw these links. The guest book entries look legit. So I'm curious about this. And if I click on that link, what happens if I get a virus or my, for whatever reason, my personal information is compromised? Think about that experience as a visitor. Think about how that visitor is now going to view you, your photography, your site. Think about, could there be possible legal repercussions that that visitor could then take because of something that they clicked that was easy to access on their site? So I have no idea what the requirements of that, the legal side of that is. Just something to think about. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get to the rest of your site here. Portfolio. I love that you have a drop down. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay. And then, so we've seen the preview images on your homepage, and now I have to register to look at your portfolio. So this is just something to think about. I love visitor sign-in, you guys. It's such a powerful tool, but for lack of a better words, Lee, you and I need to date first before I give you my phone number, right? You and I need to establish some kind of relationship first before I give you this contact information. In other words, I've seen your slideshow, love the images that I saw there. I saw some weird links below on your website, and then I want to go and see more of your work, and now you're asking for my contact information. Again, visitor sign-in is a super powerful tool. There's lots of different ways that you can use it. What do you guys think in chat about visitor sign-in on the portfolio? Is this creating a barrier that's actually worth it being there for me to give you my information? Just some things to think about. It is all optional. So it's super optional, which is nice that you have that all optional. So I can go ahead and click continue, and we can go in here and take a look at your portfolio. Okay, now, man, look at that photo, you guys. That is just beautiful. That is just a beautiful, beautiful image right there. I love that photo. But now we're looking at your portfolio. We're taken to this visit shop. We're seeing pricing over here, all of this information. So one of the things that I would definitely consider is if you are a photographer for hire versus if you're just but if you're out making photos, making art to sell, there should be a separation, I feel like, between that. So if I'm a visitor looking for a photographer to hire and I go to portfolio, I expect to see examples of the type of work that I can hire you to do. Not really get hit with, give me your email and then buy my work, right? So just something to think about here is this, again, the type of portfolio experience that you want to give your visitors, right? This is a beautiful image. I think somebody would buy this image in a heartbeat. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I went to portfolio, went to People Shots to look at possibly hiring you as a photographer, and now I'm kind of going through this. So just something to think about. Just something to think about on that whole experience, right? Let's just kind of go through and we'll take a quick look. All right, and again, here, look. So we see this image. We go through to the next one, and all of a sudden, this photo is not for sale, and we now have a good third of the real estate of this particular page where we came to see your portfolio being taken up by stuff that's basically worthless right now, for lack of a better words, because there's no action that we can take here. It's rather distracting from the images. So something to think about, right? Setting this up to where we can have it to where it's maybe a grid view, right? Different things like that. So something to think about. But let's keep going. All right, and it looks, okay, so here we go. Looks like there's going to do something. So now we're going back to this, right? again, so I just want to see this, how this could be a confusing experience for a visitor, brand new, learning, just learning about your business, trying to learn about your photography, some things to think about. Okay, let's go back. And guys, I got like 2 minutes left, so if you haven't submitted your site to be reviewed, make sure that you click that link below the video. Go ahead and get your site submitted, because the next site that I review is going to come from one of you guys hanging out with me there in the live chat. All right, let's check out another portfolio. Let's go look at your food. Let's see what this experience is like. And so again, I'm looking at a portfolio of food, and I don't know. What do you guys think in chat about this experience for a portfolio? Just let me know what you guys think in chat. For me, if I'm looking at a portfolio, I prefer to see a grid gallery because it's so easy to browse quickly. And for me, a lot of times, I don't want portfolio galleries to be distracting with the buy button there. Now, if you want to have a separate section where it's very, what is the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it's very clear that this is where I'm going to see examples of work I can hire you for. This is where I'm going to see work of yours that I can buy. There needs to be a distinction, I feel, in those two types of work. Beautiful images though. So one of the things I can't see, let me see, maybe I can see here. Oh, so I can't see if you have categorized, keyworded these images. If that stuff's showing, that's a lot of stuff that I cannot see. So I'm not sure if your website is getting the traffic from any of keywords or anything like that, because I can't tell if they're showing or not, because I can't access the gallery to actually view the thumbnail images. Let's keep going. Let's do one more portfolio here. Oh, that was interesting. So that took me to all photographs. So that might not be an experience that you want to have somebody have either. It's clicking that back button and now they're back to all photographs, or then I can click there and now I see all of your images. So something to think about, that all photographs section being accessible right there. You guys, I just clicked on that. Let's go to your info really quick. Oh man, let me go back to that image though. Did you guys see that photo? This one right here, I don't know how I missed it. That one's beautiful, just beautiful. All right, info. Okay, so we have an about photo. I'm gonna say bonus points for actually having a photo of yourself. So many times I go to these I do these site reviews, I go to the about page and I never see the photographer. So always creates for awkward moments when you meet the client for that first time. If they're like, oh, is that the photographer or is that the photographer? So great job having that. You also talk quite a bit about where you're located. You mentioned Georgia on your homepage. Good stuff. So it's nice that you have that location information all across your website. And just a pretty solid about page here. All right, unfortunately, guys, I did run out of time on that one. I meant to progress a little bit further. I am sorry, Lee, but hopefully I gave you some really good points to think about, some things to consider here on your website. I am going to take a quick break, drink some tea. Today, it's green tea with ginger. I know you guys keep telling me I need to get the Earl Grey tea going, so definitely need to do that, get the Earl Grey tea going. But I'm going to take a quick break, take some tea, and then when I come right back, we're going to do a live review of one of your guys' sites. So if you haven't submitted it yet, you still have like 30 seconds to get that submitted. I'll be back here shortly.
Hey Zenfolio YouTube audience, this is Katie with Zenfolio Customer Support, your helpful moderator on Site Review Tuesdays. Thank you for joining us to learn more about Zenfolio and how you can make it work for you. We've been doing a variety of giveaways during our broadcasts. When you win our giveaways, we put some cash in your Zenfolio account that you can use to discount your subscription, buy products from our partner vendors, or that you can pass along to your clients as a gift certificate. We also love promoting your photography and website when you win a giveaway. Once you've won, we'll send you an email with more details. With your permission, we'll show off your work during our broadcasts. Look out for questions to show off your support skills with Zenfolio Trivia, or to share more about your photography experience and knowledge. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, for your chance to win. And don't forget to join us for our 200th live stream Thursday, August the 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Mark it in your calendars for a big chance to win. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you, Katie. All right, you guys, time for the live audience site review. This is going to be coming from one of you guys in live chat. Let me see. Let me talk to some of you guys really quick. Who do we have hanging out with us? Mary Randall said, I wouldn't do it. Pro exposure photography says needs some sections and groups so the user can view what they are interested in. Absolutely. Let's see. Katie says, ginger and green tea. Yeah, I really am a big fan of ginger. It's supposed to be really good for your throat. And as you guys can hear, my throat gets a little scratchy towards the end of these live streams. A big part of that, I think, is because I have a 120-pound Great Dane who sleeps, hangs out with me all day, every day, like right about 5 feet away from me. And he's an older guy, so he has a lot of dander and stuff, and I'm constantly breathing that in. So I think I got to figure out like an air filter thing going on here or something to kind of help combat that, because I've noticed it's been getting worse. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and grab today's live site review, and I'm probably going to mess this name up, but let me just get it and bring it over here. And it looks like it is, man, is it Sane Studios? Let me know if I even came close. If I didn't come close, just completely make fun of me in chat. But I hopefully I'm getting close. Let me just bring this down. You guys in chat who are hanging out, tell me how to pronounce that. Let me throw that link in the chat for you guys down there as well. All right. Here we go. Darren says, probably from all the late night singing, Robert. That could be it. That could be it. You guys don't want to hear me sing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get 15 minutes up on the clock, get this review going. There we go. Okay, starting out up here. Really, really cool. Love the logo. Love the images, man. Absolutely beautiful images here. Just some gorgeous, gorgeous images. Okay, so let's go right up here and let's take a look. You have your name up here and Toronto wedding photography. So let me just get back to that really quick. Toronto wedding photographer, wedding photography. It looks like maybe there's even more information in there, but I can't see past that second tube. So I'm going to say nice job having that set up. You've also got a custom favicon going over here. I can't tell what it is. So something to always think about is sometimes our really cool design ideas that we have in logos, when we bring them down to a 16 by 16 pixel image, which is what that favicon is, they don't always pan out the best. Sometimes our circles look like stop signs. Sometimes we can't really tell what it is in there. So definitely something to think about, that 16 by 16 pixel, keeping it as simple as possible. But great job having that set up here. And you got this really nice logo right here, like really nice and clean looking. Love it. Okay, so again, right here, cool logo. Love this slideshow. I don't know, what do you guys think? Part of me loves that this isn't kind of doing the whole crossfade, that it's doing the whole kind of side swipe thing, because it really keeps me focused and keeps my attention on it. So when I'm kind of drifting, that movement kind of pulls my eyes back to the slideshow. But then the other part of me is like, oh, it's really jerky. What do you guys think in chat? Besides, the images are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely, as everybody's saying, some absolutely beautiful photos. I'm trying to think, is the jerkiness of the slideshow, that swipe, not jerkiness, but just that motion, is it a plus or is it a minus? Let me know what you guys think. I'm on the fence on that one. Beautiful images though, super simple setup. Now, one of the things I will say is that the site menu is down here, and if you'll notice on a couple of these images that are lighter, specifically that bride image, as we go back over here where we saw that really white, just beautiful image in the bride right here, I lose all of those site menu items altogether here because of that. So something to think about, thinking about your images, the color of your menu, making sure that they're going to stand out. One of the things that I've seen people do to overcome this is they'll actually put in gradients on their images, and they'll have that bottom image be a little gradient down there if it's a lighter text, just to have it stand out a little bit more. But again, absolutely beautiful images. Love this setup. Love it. Let's go ahead and check out your portfolio. Love that you have a drop down. Let's go right to your weddings right here and take a look. All right. So check this out, you guys. We switched over to the header menu up here. Love the fact that everything's nice and white, clean, super simple, and you're kind of utilizing your spotlight content here to show the images in this gallery, kind of in that slideshow that we've already seen on the homepage, but it looks like there's more images here. And so it's really cool that you kind of have this set up this way. Super clean. Love it. Love it. Okay. So scrolling down here, one of the things that you might think about is getting back to things that I always talk about on Site Review Tuesdays, always try to bring up is gallery title, right? Well, to you and I, it might make sense just to title this gallery wedding because that's our wedding portfolio. Those gallery titles matter when it comes to SEO. And so thinking about that, what could you put in here? Just a few extra words, a little bit more information to make that title more SEO friendly. Toronto, I think you said Toronto, right? Toronto, is that what we said? I can't remember now. I think it was Toronto. So Toronto wedding photography portfolio. Just a few extra sentences, all of a sudden, or a few extra words, all of a sudden that gallery title is much more SEO friendly. So something to think about there. Also here, some people are talking about in chat, with this being your portfolio, I'm not really going here as a visitor to actually take action on this. And so for this particular gallery, I would definitely think about dropping these out right here, just because there's not really an action that I want to take on here as a visitor. I'm here to really just browse the photos, so something to think about. And then the other thing too is gallery captions, right? I talk about gallery captions a lot. They are one of the most underutilized feature on Zenfolio. That gallery caption, super, super powerful. You can talk about, again, you can mention, I'm a wedding photographer in Toronto. Some of my favorite venues to photograph weddings are blah, 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 blah. Maybe you specialize in specific types of weddings. I specialize in large Catholic weddings. I specialize in Indian weddings. I specialize in outdoor weddings, different things like that that you can use and write in that gallery caption to, again, just provide search engines with more information on what this gallery is about. And then also something to think about is if you're dropping specific venue names that you photograph weddings in that caption, you could reach out to those venues, let them know you're mentioning them, maybe even link to their site from that gallery caption, let them know, send them the link, and then see if they'll give you a link back. Those back and forth links are really, really good for your SEO. So something to think about there. Let's go down. Let's just take a look. Again, some beautiful images. I would probably remove the social media icons upon hover, just so that we don't get that action like this where it kind of brings that little bar up. But let's just go down here. So some beautiful images. And I love the way that you have your black and whites scattered in here and kind of throughout this, and you can just kind of separate it, right? So it's not like we hit this patch where it's a ton of black and whites. Occasionally it's one or two, then it might be three, then it goes back. Love, love, love that. Love it. And this is just really, really just absolutely beautiful images. Down at the bottom, again, down here, thinking about categories, keywords, things like that. Right over here, if you've taken the time to keyword your images, keyword the gallery, categorize it, anything like that, Google doesn't care about that until it's actually showing on your site. And so that needs to be showing. Now, Zenfolio, we know that you don't want a bunch of keywords all over your gallery and over your images. So when you show it, we actually have it hidden in a nice little dialog box right down here in the bottom right corner. So it's not plastered all over the page. So it will help your SEO. People can see it if they want to. They can expand that box, but it's not taking up a lot of space all over your images. So it's going to help your traffic and not clutter up the look in this simplistic look that you've kind of set your site up to have, this really clean look. So something to think about there. All right, let's keep moving. Let's go to your engagement portfolio. All right, so bonus points for the consistency, right? One of the things that you want to think about though is that these particular slideshows, okay? So if we go here, one of the things that you want to think about, these particular slideshows, they will typically take on the orientation of the first image that they come to, okay? So with that being in mind, let's compare the visual of this gallery versus the visual of the wedding gallery. Again, keep in mind, this gallery slideshow is going to take on the aspect ratio, the orientation of that first image, with the first image in here being a vertical image. So that's why you see it look like this. And then when we get to landscape orientated images, it fits them in there and makes them all small and doesn't really display it really well. And so a simple remedy to that would be to grab this image in the gallery on your website and just drag it in front of that one, or find a different one. Any landscape orientated image, grab it, bring it in front of this image in the gallery on your end. That way, when this slideshow loads, it's going to take on the aspect ratio of that horizontal orientated image, which will just present much better here on the screen than what we're seeing right here. So again, if we go back to weddings and we take a look, the first image in this gallery is this one, which is the first image we see here, which also controls the orientation of that slideshow. Going down to engagement, Marshall is on it. He just went in here and fixed it. Nice. So now we're seeing this horizontal orientated image. And I'm guessing that you were probably like, oh, what is going on? Why can't I change it? Yeah. So that's it, you guys. It pulls from that first image here. So great setup here. All right, scrolling down. Now, one of the things I didn't mention, but I'm going to mention here, is there are a lot of images in this gallery. And I do like the fact that we kind of progress. And typically, I don't like to see a lot of the same images from the shoot together, kind of grouped up. But I think in this case, it does kind of work. But what I would say is that there are a lot of images in this gallery, as you can tell by that scroll bar right here. So I would really think about starting to cherry pick these, right? So even though all three of these images are absolutely beautiful, these are kind of duplicate images, a little bit of a different style put on them, but they're kind of duplicate images. So you might want to pick your favorite one here and do things like that to kind of start limiting the number of images that are in here, because the last thing you want is for somebody to have to go scroll way down, slow internet, waiting on images to load, and just to have all of these images to browse through. You want to probably, like, I typically would recommend like your best maybe 10 to 20 images at the most, just to keep people focused, just to make sure load time is fast, and because we want them not hanging out here all day long on your portfolio, but we want them seeing your work and be like, man, this guy is the photographer that I've been looking for. His work is beautiful. Progressing on to that next point. Speaking of that, also back to gallery captions, another thing that you can do is use that gallery caption to put in a call to action, right? When people are looking at your portfolio, we want them to progress to do something, right? We don't want somebody just to come here and be like, oh, pretty work, move on. We want them to progress to taking some kind of action, right? Whether that's learning more about the services that you offer or getting in touch to find out about your available dates or something like that. And so going back to gallery captions, you can utilize those gallery captions to include a call to action in these galleries so that when people are right here on this page reading that caption, they're like, it says get in touch, or click here to contact me, or click here to see my available dates, or click here to learn more about my services, and you have that information right in the caption. So something to think about. All right, let's go ahead. Let's check out your portrait profile, or your portrait portfolio. I don't know why I said profile. That kind of threw me for a loop. All right, so again, great setup. A little bit of a different gallery feel. We're going in, we kind of lose that slideshow. What do you guys think about that? The youth experience also, you might notice the images are a little bit smaller. So a little bit of a different feel to it. What do you guys think in chat? Let me know. Usually I like to try to keep things consistent, although there are exceptions to everything, right? There are definitely times when it makes sense to make something experience a little bit different, but curious what you guys think in chat about that. Let me know. let's hit that about page. Let's see what you got on the about page. All right, nice. Great about photo. Let's see. Silent Studios, I work passionately capture moments, transform into everlasting memories. All right. So I think you got some good information here. I would definitely use this space for a couple of things. One, and you might have done it, I might have just missed it. Let me see. So definitely a travel wedding photographer or a destination photographer. Definitely reiterate that here. This is text information. Text information is really good for SEO. The other thing here, right, is I want to know a little bit about you. I want to know, are we going to get along? I want to know how you approach and handle weddings. Are you that photographer who, if I need you to be in charge and tell people what to do, can I count on you to do that? Are you that photographer that we're going to have fun, kick back, laugh, enjoy the experience? Are you a photographer where you take a more of a journalistic approach, where you kind of are not so much up in it and you're back kind of capturing the moment as it happens, right? What is our working experience together going to be like? Am I going to like you? Are we going to get along? Are we going to be friends? That kind of thing. So things to think about here. That kind of information is really what you want to put in your about page. It's nice to talk about the type of photography you do. This is where you want to seal the deal by making that person who is already loving your photos also feel like they know you and love you and want to hire you. And that's what an about page should do. Also, you said your 9-year-old son took that photo. Kudos to him. Big thumbs up to that. He's awesome. That's a great about photo. Definitely looks like he has taken on some of your skills as a photographer. So that's awesome. All right, you guys, we got like 3 minutes left. So let me see what you guys are talking about here in chat here. Darren, Mark, always hanging out on Site Review Tuesdays. Well, it's been a while actually since Darren's been here, but I appreciate Darren hanging out here, putting his feedback in the chat. Absolutely, definitely appreciate that. And all of you guys putting feedback in the chat. This is why we do these live streams. Not so much so you guys can sit here and listen to me talk. Like, I try to provide some stuff, but I love seeing you guys talk to each other there in the chat. That is what I love to see, is you guys talking to each other in the chat, communicating back and forth, helping each other, giving suggestions, all of that good stuff. That is, I love that. I think it's awesome. All right. Well, I do want to say thank you so much to all of you guys who hung out with me today. If this was your first time joining us on Site Review Tuesday, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do this every single Tuesday at the same time, and then we also go live on Thursdays and do Zenfolio live as well. So Darren, Mark, Roxanne, Bay, Rocco, let's see, Marshall, who else am I having on here? Dee Dee Barber, Kathleen Riley, Roxanne Bay, Sharks 408. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't want to miss anybody's names. If I miss your name, I'm not doing it on purpose. Lynn, thanks for jumping on here and hanging out with us. Mary and Frank, thank you guys so much for joining us, hanging out with me today. Like I said, we do these site reviews every single Tuesday, same time, same place. Don't forget, coming up this Thursday, we're going to do a live interview with Mary Powell of Mary Powell Photography. She's going to talk about real estate, scheduling, booking, workflow, that kind of thing. So if you're a real estate photographer interested in getting into that type of photography, or just like hanging out with us, make sure that you come join us on that. We might be doing something a little fun, so you guys might want to make sure that you're there. It's going to be really cool. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button. The best thing to do is to do it on your phone through the YouTube app. That way you can click the little bell and you actually get a notification on your phone when we go live. So make sure that you do that. And hey, make sure that the rest of this week, the rest of your life, maybe you do something nice for somebody. Lift somebody up, encourage somebody, teach somebody something that you know, and let's all work together to make this world a better place, because it could really, really use it right now. I'll see you guys again on Thursday. Thank you again for hanging out with me. Be safe, and I'll see you on Thursday.